Hi, I'm Nyesha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
Welcome to another segment of All Politics is Local with your host, rJo Winch, and I have my guest again, LORRE from The Relationship Show.
Thank you for having me on your show. I'm looking forward to talking about all kinds of issues related to politics.
Well, you know what? The last segment we talked about school and the things that's going on with Sands Elementary School and Capitol Prep. This segment, we're going to be talking about politics.
Uh-oh.
We're going to talk about Republicans, basically, and what's going on with President Obama. You know, and every time I see something that goes on with that segment of, you know, the Republicans and President Obama, I go right back to the issues of, you know, when is it, you know, when black people are going to be seen, you know, as just a person, you know, in a job, trying to do the best that they can, and race not be an issue.
Right. I agree. Have you, on your last show, talked about Obamacare yet?
Let me tell you, one of the things that I'm glad that you brought that up, because one of the things that we need to make perfectly clear, it's not Obamacare.
Uh-oh.
It is the Affordable Care Act. The reason that they're calling it Obamacare is because they know that some of y'all out there don't want to do anything that has to do with President Obama, even if it's going to benefit you. A lot of governors won't even let the Affordable Care Act come into their state because they have angst with the president because of just who he is. Don't you let that affect you and your pocket and your health care. It's an Affordable Health Care Act. I love Nancy Pelosi when she said, and people might have differences with Obamacare, but nobody has a difference with affordable. You know? So it's Affordable Health Care Act. So you make sure that you sign up, you go and log on. If the website is not working immediately like it should work, then you wait a few hours and you go back and sign on. Guess what? Boehner, Speaker of the House, signed up for the Affordable Care Act because I think that he thought that he was going to go in there, it was going to be such a mess that he would actually be able to taunt the president and say, hey, here's another case that didn't work because I tried to go into it. Guess what? Today, even Boehner has access health care. So if he can get it, you can too. So don't believe the hype. It's just another play on words, another thing to deceive people, to stop people from getting. But look at this. The bottom line is, these are the same things that people went through with Social Security. When they wanted to do, what's the other thing people have? Not Blue Cross. They have another thing that the seniors have.
Social Security?
Social Security they have, and it's something else.
Disability?
Like disability. The same thing, the same processes that they went through, but they forgot about that it took months and months. Social Security took years.
Oh, really?
To get it to work. But they forgot about that. But now, since this is the Affordable Care Act under President Obama, after Democrats tried for more than 70 years, did you know that?
No.
70 years they tried to get this through. Ted Kennedy died in Massachusetts working on Affordable Care Act for the state of Massachusetts. He and Governor Romney, when Romney was the governor, finally got it through. So if it's good enough for Massachusetts, why isn't it good enough for the world?
Right.
And the reason that they don't want it to happen, because it will come under this president's administration. If Romney had won that presidency, guarantee you, Affordable Care Act would not have been an issue. Everybody who wanted it would have it. Everybody who's eligible for it would have it.
What about the discussion, how they keep saying, how he says, if you like the plan that you're with, you stick with the plan, you don't have to drop it. That has been like the resounding issue.
Yeah, and to that I say, if you're a manager of a business, do you know 100% everything that's going on in your business, or do you rely on the managers to tell you what's going on?
Absolutely rely on the managers to tell you.
All right, case in point.
So that's what happened with Obama.
He said this is what his desire was for the plan. Can people who have insurance already keep what they have. What was the response of the team?
If they want it.
If they want it, they can keep it.
Right.
So when he come out to deliver the message, because remember, he's the mouthpiece of the plan. If you have that, you want it, you can keep it.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. Having said that, because that doesn't seem to be the case, can't they revamp it? Can't they make that so that people can continue to have it? Because it seems like he was misinformed, but they're not going back to correct it.
But they are.
They are going to correct it.
But they are, and they did. They went back to make amendment to the law that says if people have already insurance that they elect to keep, that they can keep it.
What about the ones that have already lost it because they thought that
they're supposed to be working with the insurance companies so that those people can go back and recoup their plans. The problem with it is that they're going to have to pay, some of them will pay higher rates with the plan, or the government got to figure out how they subsidize them because it was the government's fault that they got out of their plans. So the government right now is working with insurance. Basically, the whole premises come around insurance company basically being a snake.
Right.
Telling people, okay, you can pay X amount of dollars for your insurance, but then look, if you got cancer, oops, your policy doesn't cover that. If you got with leukemia, oops, your policy doesn't cover that. Somebody in your family come up with lupus, oops, your policy doesn't cover that. So that's why the government basically got involved in it. Remember, President Obama was a child whose mother died from cancer because she couldn't get insurance. So he has a personal interest in ensuring that other children don't face the same thing with their parents that he went through with his, watching his mother die because she couldn't get access to health care.
Right.
So those are just, some of the things that are going on. And I love that play card with the supermajority. See, with the Republicans, and let me give y'all a clue in case y'all forgot. Remember now, when Obama was a professor teaching, what did he teach? He taught constitutional law. So he know more about the Constitution than they could ever even forget that they knew. He taught it for years. So he knows a lot about what's in the Constitution. And then when he was a senator, he was there. He and also Vice President Joe Biden, they served on the Senate. So they understand what the Senate is. They understand what the rules are. They already know about some of the pitfalls that people need to overcome and get over and get by. And so now they're like, you know what, we didn't want to have to pull this card. But because you being so ridiculous and you don't even want to let him make appointments, you don't want to, filibuster anything that he says, anything that he wants to put forward, guess what? Ching. We're going to pull this card because we're done. We're tired of you. You're blocking government from happening, and it's not because it's bad government. It's just bad you. See, you want to shut down everything that this president wants to put in place. But see, and it is not so much about Congress and the House trying to say, well, we're not let you do this to President Obama. They're protecting future presidents, i.e. Hillary Clinton. When Hillary Clinton comes into office, and I know she's coming in 2016, when Hillary Clinton comes into office in 2016, one, they want to make sure just in case the Republicans still maintain the majority that she's not going to have to go through this, that she's not going to have to face, these pitfalls that President Obama is now falling into because they thought that it would be a great idea, to have this filibuster rule that they had to have 60%, in order to get anything passed. But the Republicans did that to themselves. And I don't care who Republican running for office in Congress and state, get them out.
Right.
Give them their walking papers. And the Congress, the Senate, no problem, because the Democrats are the majority in the Senate. But in Congress, give them their hat. Tell them they got to go. Because this is a democracy. They want to try to run the country like it's a dictatorship and it's under Republican rule. See, that's the ridiculous part. And so in every single thing, in every single issue, race always comes up. Why? It doesn't matter if the president is blue, purple, green, or polka dot. He's the president of the United States. So you need to give him some respect. I get mad every time I hear a commentator make the remark about Barack Obama or Obama. No, he's the president. You call him President Obama or Mr. Obama. You don't address him by his first name, and you don't call his last name without saying that he's the president first. Mr. President, President Obama. Because any other president, you always say President Clinton. You don't call him anything Clinton. You say President Clinton.
Right.
You say Secretary of State Clinton. So you put a handle on his too. So girl, don't make me go to Congress. Don't make me go up there. They'll want to see rJo coming to Congress.
I know, right? She's running the show.
Don't let me make a trip up there.
Oh my goodness.
And tell them,
Shake
no,
the
you
house.
put a handle on that. That's the president of these United States. The one and only. So don't even. So you know what? We almost out of time, Lori. You know,
I know,
time goes by so quickly.
We got 4 more minutes.
All right, but we want to make sure that we do our local political thing. All of you who have mayor and council elections coming up, make sure that you get your voter's registration card. Go get an extra ID card that has your photo on it. I've never seen so many states trying to disenfranchise voters as what's going on right now. And one of the things that's going on is that the Republicans are pushing it because they understand that they are outnumbered, they were outvoted, and they want to make sure that minorities are the ones who be in disadvantage. But oops, I'm sorry. You're getting judges who are not minority who can't vote. You're getting long-time elected officials who go to the voting polls and their names aren't exactly as it says on their voter's registration card, their ID card, the other identification, and they can't vote.
Right.
So while you setting a trap to try to get somebody else, a lot of the traps are backfiring on them. So they're getting people who they know and getting people in their neighborhood and getting people where they live. So don't even let them have that opportunity. If you know right now your driver's license, your social security card, whatever it is that you use for identification, whether it's a problem in your state or not, make sure that the two are the same. We cannot afford to lose one Democratic independent vote in 2016. Make sure that you go get registered. And listen, here's another loose flash. You could do it the other way around. Go to your voter registration office and change your voter registration to read what it says on your ID card. Like mine. My name is Rosina Winch. I don't ever use it. I go by rJo. I went down to my voter registration office, registered under rJo, because that's what I use, and that's what I use, and that's what everybody knows me as. So, same thing. If your driver's license says a name, go register under that name. That way, you don't have to change your driver's license. You don't have to get other identification. Go change your voter registration card to what the identification that you hold says, what that card says you are. That way, you could stick it to them again.
Right.
You know, I'm going to change. I'm not going to get a different ID card. I'm going to change my voter registration card because that's a whole lot easier to do. People don't want to pay $40, $60, go wait in a long line, make sure that the name is the same. You know, go to your voter registration office. Do it. You can do that online. Go get a voter registration card online. Fill it out, email it, or fill it out, print it, however it is your state says you have to do it, so that your driver's license is the same. If you have a bank card with a photo on it, make sure it's the same. Whatever identification you have with your face on it, make sure that it reads the same as how you are registered to vote by doing that through your city, your city hall.
Good point. Very good point.
There's always more than one way to skin a cat.
That's right.
So one thing that we're accustomed to is making sure that whenever somebody creates a pitfall, make sure you got an A plan. You got to have options. You got an A plan, a B plan, a C plan. You know what? Put your D plan in your pocket. Just in case. Ching, ching, you got to pull it out. All right? So congratulations to the Democrats for pulling that card. Now see what the Republicans are going to do with a 51% vote. That's all we need. Majority rules, 51%. All right? So thank you all for coming out and supporting the Vote No in the city of Hartford on the charter revision. We're going to deal with that question number 3 about trying to have Hartford Council appoint a registrar. No.
Nope.
The news flash. 338 registrars of voters in the state of Connecticut. 277 of those positions are filled by women. We're not having it. Because you know, and I know, that if the registrar is going to be appointed, unfortunately, the reality is he's going to get appointed more times than she. So we're not having it. We're going to continue to elect our voters a registrar because that's where your democracy begins. And And make sure that you realize that you heard it here first on All Politics is Local with your host, rJo Winch. And my guest, as always, LORRE from The Relationship Show. So tune in to us again on All Politics is Local, because you know what? Everybody watches accesstv.org.